Ain't playing with nobody. You step in that ring with him, be prepared.
Oh my God! All day. There you go. That's it. That's it. There you go. That's it. Round.
Fighters, his experience, his toughness, his cardio, he has a lot of heart and he knows that I'm coming to win, and they're saying that this is the hardest he's ever been training.
Peeling back in terms of some of that discipline. But, you know, if training camp happens, you know, if he's locked in and he's looking to make a show and try and knock this guy out, I wouldn't be surprised either. Does he have the gas? Yeah. Even though he's dealing with a bigger guy, you know, it's still, he's been 10, 12 rounds in real fights. Jake hasn't. Jake has shown that he's got tired out in fights.
Jake Paul's confidence is on full display as he prepares for his fight with Gervonta "Tank" Davis. Known for his bold statements and fearless attitude, Jake isn't holding back, and his presence near Tank's camp adds tension. With Tank focused on sharpening his speed and power in training, both fighters are pushing their limits, setting the stage for a potentially explosive showdown.
I just want to see what he brings to us. We just got off the plane. You know, a lot of work yesterday from the interviews and stuff, so I want to see how he react. 2 sparring partners, and rounds is unknown.
All right, y'all. Let's go.
When they watch us in here working, they saying we going bang, 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 bang.
There you go. Good. There you go.
When he get in that ring, he's on a mission. Because he understand that he got to put his pants on, training wheels going. We got what you asked for. Let's get.
Jake Paul is training harder than ever, pushing his limits with intense focus and discipline. He insists this camp is different, promising to show a level of skill the world hasn't seen before, with sharper combinations and improved movement. Jake believes he's fully prepared to shock everyone against Gervonta "Tank" Davis.
Pick him apart, and people are going to be able to see the skill set that I've been working on in the gym that I haven't been able to showcase in recent fights yet.
For Gervonta "Tank" Davis, this fight is more than a payday or exhibition. It's about pride and legacy. Facing Jake Paul, a YouTuber turned boxer known for shocking wins, Tank sees this as a true test of his skill. The undefeated champion has pushed himself through an intense training camp, leaving no room for error. His focus and determination make it clear this fight is personal. Analyst Paulie Malignaggi noted that while Jake's fights are genuine, they're often strategically guided by his team, but this time Paul faces a fighter who thrives under real pressure. Tank knows one slip could go viral, and that fuels his drive to show he's still one of boxing's most dangerous competitors.
People like knockouts. They don't care if you're knocking out cab drivers. Look at Jake Paul's career.
You can manufacture that though. You can manufacture that though. You can manufacture. You can't manufacture. To a degree, you can. To a degree. I mean, you can. Yeah, Gervonta legitimately cannot get knockouts. I agree. He can punch, but there's a lot of limited knockout artists though, man.
He's one of the least active punchers in the game with the highest knockout percentage of current heavyweight.
But if he was a real knockout artist,
champion.
If he was a real knockout artist, could it prop him up against the best of the best? Felix Trinidad was a knockout artist. He was knocking out the best of the best. If you're a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best and show us how he smokes them. But the way we did when Felix Trinidad was doing it. You know, the way that Mike Tyson was doing it in his prime. Okay, say what you want about the Mike Tyson era. He knocked out everyone from 1986 to 1989. Everyone got knocked out. Everyone.
But by your standard, you could say that Tyson was, to a degree, manufactured.
No, because he fought everyone that was there. Everyone that was there at that time.
Teddy Ellis will 100% agree with this.
With the expense of
say the guys that were afraid of
with the exception of Witherspoon. No, but they all, doesn't matter. He knocked them all out. There was nobody you could say in that era except maybe Witherspoon, who had contract issues with King at the time. Except for Witherspoon, there is nobody Tyson didn't fight in that era. He knocked them all out. You can't say like, oh, but if he would have fought that guy, I don't know. No, with Davis, there's guys right now that have been hanging around for years. Yo, dude, when are you gonna fight them? The lightweight division was stacked with talent. Even at 130, it had a lot of talent when he was there. Didn't fight almost any of them. So it's not the same thing.
Teofimo Lopez, another elite boxer, offered his take, suggesting this fight leans more toward entertainment than a traditional sporting contest. He pointed out that the weight difference and celebrity status turn it into a spectacle aimed at drawing attention rather than affecting rankings or official records. Lopez emphasized that the matchup resembles modern entertainment boxing, where attracting viewers is the main objective. While some fans agree, others note that Gervonta Davis's pride makes it impossible for him to approach the fight casually. Lopez's perspective underscores how boxing has evolved, with figures like Jake Paul blurring the line between show business and the sport, bringing millions of new viewers even as purists remain skeptical.
It's fun for the sport of boxing. It makes it fun. It makes it entertaining. That's what it's all about, you know, and may the best man win. It's an exhibition regardless. It doesn't count.
Doesn't count? Yeah. We need to see you and Tank, though. Has to happen.
What happened?
It has to happen, you and Tank.
We'll see, man. It's up to the champ. You're the champ, right? He's a celebrity.
One of Jake Paul's former sparring partners recently issued a stark warning, stating that Jake has never faced the kind of destructive power that Gervonta Davis brings to the ring. He explained that while Jake's confidence stems from knocking out MMA competitors, none of them possess Davis's elite speed, timing, or punching precision. The fighter emphasized that Gervonta's power isn't just raw strength. It's the explosive accuracy behind each shot. Jake may step in thinking his size is an advantage, but taking even a single clean punch from Davis could quickly dispel that notion. The sparring partner's insight reflects what many boxing professionals already suspect. Jake is entering a highly dangerous matchup against a natural knockout artist who excels under pressure.
Honestly, man, like every single time, you know, people said that Jake would get finished or he would lose a fight, he obviously proved everybody wrong. But I genuinely believe this time, I think that, you know, with Gervonta's boxing IQ and him having Jake come down a little bit in weight, I think Gervonta will beat him, honestly. I think Gervonta will hurt him. I think he'll just use IQ. He'll tire him out a little bit. And, you know, I think he'll land. You know, Gervonta knows how to touch his opponents. But it's interesting because when Floyd fought Logan, the size really made a big, you know, impact. And you saw Floyd struggle, you know, against a big, you know, Ohio corn-fed, you know, wrestling strong dude. And, you know, I've sparred Jake and Logan before, and, you know, they train hard.
You're picking Tank by knockout?
Look, I sparred them years ago. They're much better than when I sparred them. They're athletes. You know, they train really hard.
Former champion Tim Bradley emphasized the heavy personal and professional pressures Gervonta Davis faces outside the spotlight. He reminded fans that fighters are human and endure both emotional and physical fatigue from years under constant scrutiny. Bradley expressed sympathy for Tank, stating, "The endless criticism from media and social platforms creates mental fatigue that can affect focus and performance." Despite these challenges, Davis channels his struggles into motivation during training. Bradley believes that if Tank can manage his emotional state and maintain discipline, his natural talent will likely outmatch Jake Paul's inexperience. His message was clear: while Jake enjoys media freedom and fan popularity, Tank carries the weight of expectations from an entire sport.
Tank, you know what I mean? I was misinformed. You know, you gotta know what somebody's going through, man, or have gone through, and where they've ended up. Now, you have to understand that. You gotta understand their DNA, you know, and we as fans, we fail to realize that. We as commentators and fanboys and all that, like, we all don't do that. We don't do our research. You know, you gotta know about somebody's history. So, like, if you understand where Tank came from, if you understand his background, then you understand how he thinks and why he feels the way he feels. You know? You do. So, I mean, for instance, like, his parents, right? His parents were drug addicts, in and out of the system, in and out of jail. You know, he lived with his grandmother. You know, like, you gotta understand when he started boxing, why he started boxing. Understand that, you know, that what the influence that Calvin has had on his life, and how if their relationship isn't great, how that affects him. And this is not making any excuses, people. This isn't. I'm not making no excuses. I'm just giving you what I think, and I'm giving you the facts surrounding all of this. You know, I remember back in 2012, you know, I'm living right. I'm living civil. I'm taking care of my business. I feel like I'm doing everything right. You know, I'm living right. I'm saying all the right things. You You know,
The promotional build-up for this fight has been massive, with interviews, social media teasers, and training footage saturating the internet. Surprisingly, though, reports suggest that ticket sales are slower than anticipated. Despite all the hype and widespread attention, fans appear hesitant to pay premium prices. Critics argue this could be because the event is perceived more as a spectacle than a legitimate sporting contest. Nevertheless, the marketing teams continue to push aggressively, leveraging both Jake Paul's star power and Gervonta Davis's reputation to keep the fight trending. This mixed response underscores a modern boxing paradox. Massive online engagement doesn't always translate into sold-out arenas. Still, both camps are counting on pay-per-view buys and global streaming audiences to secure the event's financial success.
When this fight first got announced, I told y'all, the promo, when they start promoting it, it is going to be fire. The promo will be better than the fight, right? Because obviously, I don't like the fight. I'm not a fan of the fight. I cannot stand the decision for Tank to go in this direction, although I understand it, right? I understand it because I understand the business behind it. So I get all of that. But the promo is fire. If you go watch it, the way that is shot, the production of it looks very, very top of the line, top shelf, as you would expect from a company as big as Netflix, which is a $530 billion company. So they have the budget, they have the money to make sure their production is A1. Obviously, as a Tank Davis fan, paying attention to him in the promo, the young man looks in good spirits. He looks like he's in a good headspace, and he doesn't look like he's unhappy to be there, which bodes well for the prospects of him continuing his boxing career, I guess, not retiring. And I think that as he gets closer to the fight, as the fight happens, he'll be in this happy place. And I expect for Tank fans, for boxing fans, to get really good news after Tank Davis and Jake Paul share the ring and they do the post-fight press conference. I think that a lot of people will probably be happy with the outcome of what Tank Davis has to say after that fight. But the promo is fire. It's just a trailer. It's up on the Netflix YouTube channel. Go check it out if you haven't already. Really enjoyed watching that promo. Watched it a couple of times. And as I said,
analysts have consistently highlighted Jake Paul's strategy of picking opponents who combine name recognition with manageable risk, and his matchup with Gervonta Davis fits this pattern perfectly. It guarantees publicity and intrigue while allowing Paul to claim he's taking on a legitimate champion. At the face-off, however, the stark size difference was immediately noticeable. Jake appeared much larger, while Tank, shorter and more compact, projected quiet confidence. Commentators described the scene as visually striking, even a bit awkward, because it emphasized just how small Tank looked next to Jake's frame. Yet for seasoned boxing fans, size isn't the sole determinant of power. Tank's composed demeanor sent a clear signal. Despite the disparity, his skill and experience enable him to inflict damage well beyond his weight class.
fighting guys your own fucking size. Look at this, John. This is embarrassing. And not to mention, Georgia already said, no, you can't have this fight here. So they moved it somewhere else. Dave, do you know where they moved the fight? Can you look it up? This is embarrassing. Look, he actually put his hands on his knees and he was still the same height, maybe a little bit taller than Gervonta Davis. I mean, I'm all in on Gervonta. I want Gervonta to win this fight. I want him to hit. I mean, I'm not saying he can knock him out, but I think if he hits him to the body a couple times, John, he may be able to catch him. A lazy jab or something, you know, he might be able to pop him to the body and get him good. I'm hoping. Jake Paul down with a body shot.
Oh, man.
Oh, geez.
Could you imagine?
I would it'd be great.
It's a win right there.
It'd be fucking great.
Miami.
Oh, they moved to Florida. Makes sense. You know, the only place that opened up during COVID makes sense. I mean, what's your thoughts on this fight? I know it's an exhibition. I believe it's rounds. 10 rounds.
Look at Gervonta Davis is a hell of a fighter, but he's, you know, and I think that the one thing that Jake Paul is really going to have to try to figure out in this fight is how do I catch this little son of a bitch? Because he's fast. And, you know, Gervonta, I would, you know, I'm not telling Gervonta Davis to, you know, cut down in weight like he normally does. Just get in shape. Whatever you weigh, you weigh. Don't try to add weight. There's not enough time for you to add good weight that's not going to make you tighter or anything like that. So just come in at your
Boxer Bruce Carrington offered an insightful perspective, noting that matchups like Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis inject new energy into the sport of boxing. He explained that these crossover fights attract younger fans, social media audiences, and even people who normally wouldn't watch boxing. While purists may frown on the entertainment angle, Carrington argued that such events generate valuable exposure. He compared it to boxing's evolution in past decades, when showmanship was as important as skill in building stars. According to him, celebrity fighters help secure mainstream coverage, sponsorships, and renewed global interest. In this light, Jake Paul's presence isn't harming boxing. It's modernizing it for a generation that consumes sports through highlights, memes, and viral clips.
Right? But this what this is sports entertainment. This is what's gonna put butts in the seat, believe it or not. This is what's gonna, you know, bring a lot of money to the sport. Especially, you know, we have like, you know, people trying to say boxing is dead, boxing is dying. But, you know, we have a whole demographic of people that don't even watch boxing, interested in boxing. So I like to look at it that way. Like we're making these fantasy dream matchups come to life with Floyd and Tyson, you know. And to be honest, I'm a little biased because Floyd, he is my favorite fighter of all time. And Tyson, he is a guy that basically like made me fall in love with boxing. And he's like the icon, the myth, the legend for me. So it was like them two fighting. I was like, yo, that's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like and then on top of that, it's an exhibition, bro. It's not something to be taken serious. It's something that is for the people to just enjoy and watch. It's an exhibition. It's not like they're making it a sanctioned fight. Now, Jake and Tank, are they making that a sanctioned fight? I think they are.
They're trying to. It's a lot of moving parts right now with that.
Yeah, so I think that's where certain things become an issue, because now you're putting it into a serious space. You know what I'm saying? Which it shouldn't be. It's honestly, if it's sanctioned, how the heck they gonna?
Former world champion Carl Froch raised concerns about the significant physical mismatch between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. He emphasized that the differences in size and power could create unsafe conditions if not properly managed. Drawing from his extensive experience, Froch highlighted the dangers that arise when fighters from different divisions face each other, particularly when one has elite knockout ability. His caution underscores a broader issue in modern boxing. The trend of celebrity-driven mismatches can increase the risk of injury if promotional interests override safety. Froch clarified that his worries aren't about doubting either fighter's skill, but about the sport's responsibility to uphold fairness and protect competitors, even in exhibition settings.
That serious. He can't really box. He can have a little fight, he can have a swing. He swings away, stands up straight, and he throws punches, but it's not professional boxing. Because when I watch him box, he does so much wrong. It's just everything's wrong. It's so bad. He's got leaky defence. He telegraphs his punches. Like, you put him in with someone his own size, it was a professional, and it's a mismatch. And you'll see that if he ends up fighting somebody. Tommy Fury, bless him, he's a pro boxer, but he's inexperienced. He's got no amateur pedigree. He's a raw novice, or maybe just above the raw novice. I was saying earlier, where would I put him in terms of levels? He'd do well to win a British title. He's at that sort of level. And then from British title to world level, it's like different.
Hermel Mouton, a rising talent affiliated with Gervonta Davis's camp, confidently predicted that Tank will dominate the fight. He noted that Davis regularly spars with much larger opponents, including heavyweights, which neutralizes any perceived advantage from Jake Paul's size. Mouton highlighted Tank's exceptional boxing IQ. His ability to close distance, time punches perfectly, and exploit openings is second to none. While Jake's size may appear intimidating, Mouton stressed that intelligence and precision often triumph over brute strength. His remarks also underscored the confidence within Tank's inner circle, portraying the bout as another chance for their champion to silence critics and demonstrate why he remains one of boxing's most efficient finishers.
I feel like it's gonna be a good fight, entertaining. It's an exhibition, so we're gonna see how serious they really take it. But don't know. They both getting a lot of money, so congrats to them.
But if you had it, like, who has the edge in this fight?
I feel like Tank has the edge for sure. He's a real fighter. And got skills. High IQ fighter. Regardless of the weight, I've personally seen Tank, spar heavyweights, and even me, I spar heavyweights, So the weight's not really too much, for a lot of great fighters, so I feel like Tank will get it for sure.
Do you think he kind of be like an advantage because he's like small and like fast? Like someone said that, I'm like, I didn't think about that actually.
Yeah, possibly. He gonna see a lot of Jake Paul's punches coming. He can be able to evade them and then set him up for a big counter.
Wait, but do you think this is gonna be different than the other Jake Paul fights we've seen, like against Mike Tyson and Julio Cesar Chavez? I know a lot of people weren't the happiest with that, but I feel like Tank's gonna give him like a different fight. Do you think so?
I think so. We'll see how he adapts to, because a lot of people think it's hard, for a small guy to be fighting a bigger guy, but it's also hard for a big guy to be fighting a smaller guy. It's a small target,
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates and analysis on the world of boxing.